Welcome back to Kettlebells and Cocktails. I'm your host, John, back with my bestie, Nikki. Nikki, how are you?
I'm good tonight. How are you?
I'm good. We have a guest I've never talked to before, Christian Harris. What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Just winding down for the evening.
Oh,
You guys
it's
got me out.
late.
You guys got me out here way past my bedtime right now.
Okay, so wait, this is actually hilarious. So I was working with Deb to like schedule tonight, and usually we end up recording in the evenings, like after I put my kid down. So, I don't know, like 8-ish is
Yeah,
typically
yeah.
typically what we do. And she was like, ooh, so like, Christian sort of like, you coach the early classes at your gym
Yeah, I
and
coach to
yeah.
6 a.m. and I'm just like wired to going to bed around like 9-ish or so, and then waking up at 5 in the morning. So right now the kids they just went up, and here we are.
So
Well, that-
thanks for
Drinking a
staying
little
up with us.
CBD. I'm queuing up to sleep right now.
Ooh,
Dude,
man,
6
I'm
6
so
a.m. is no
jealous.
joke. No joke having to get up that early.
Well, I'm really up at 5, but
Yeah, well, that's the point. Dude, that was my class. When I started CrossFit, every day for like 5 years, I was that 5 a.m. guy.
Okay,
And
so
that's a
you were in the 4s.
bro, that's a
Oh.
different world. You
Oh,
come in
for
early.
sure.
Those classes come in early. They don't say a word to each other. They just come in. It's all silent, nothing but heavy breathing and knees creaking.
Yep.
And
I can't do
they don't
it.
say anything through the warm up. And then when the workout's about to start, they start to loosen up and like get their life together. And then they're
Yep.
fine by the end. But it's like that first 20 minutes, just like dead air. It's the worst.
It is
Absolute
funny you
worst.
say that, because the morning crew is such a different culture than the afternoon. And for the Open this year, I was just talking with my partner, and we're gonna do Friday Night Lights, but we're gonna do all the AM classes versus all the PM classes.
I love that.
Wait, how do you do it? Like, what's the scoreboard, leaderboard situation?
Yeah, so what I was just talking to him about, we're gonna call it the early birds versus the night owls, and we'll have about 10 to 15 scores that matter, and that's going to be your team score. So, say there's 50 people on one team, 50 people on another team. The top 15 scores each week will kind of contribute to,
Yeah.
So do something like that.
Old school team style. That was like
Yeah.
how it used to be back in the day.
Exactly.
If you were to put together an affiliate team, your entire gym would register and they would just take the top scores.
Yep. So
Yep.
bringing it back to the roots.
Yeah, I love
Oh,
that.
Poor
Yeah.
AM people, though. You got to go to Friday Night Lights. They're like, it's dark outside. What are we doing now? Like, why am I working out at this time of night?
Yeah.
Then they got to get up and actually come to the workout the next day. That's even worse.
Right. I could totally relate to that.
We're making you do it right now.
Yeah, you're doing it tomorrow.
I'm with you guys. Back in the day, I feel like when I first started CrossFit, I was totally a 6 a.m. person. But I was young and I could do anything.
Well, how old are you?
Well, now I'm 34. You guys, it's my last year not in the Masters. This is my last non-Masters Open. You think I'll make it?
I think you'll be all right.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Oh God. But I do feel like in my 20s, I could do anything. In my 20s, I could like operate on 4 hours of sleep. Truly.
For
And it was
sure.
fine. And then for the last 18 months, I think I've only been operating on 4 hours of sleep, but it's been like, not okay.
It'd be like that. It'd be like that when you have kids.
When does it get better? When do I start sleeping?
It doesn't.
Well, how old's your baby?
18 months, year and a half.
So, yeah, I mean, everything goes in stages, right? The teething stage, the bedwetting stage, the I'm scared of the dark stage. So there's all the different ones, and they go through their highs and lows, but you'll get through it.
I'm still in 2 of those stages. For me personally, I mean.
The bedwetting is rampant, I'm sure.
Yeah, that usually poses a problem.
But after that sort of like early on CrossFit period where I was working out in the morning, I can only work out at night now. And I don't know where the flop happened, but there was a time where I was coaching 5:30 and 6:30 a.m. and then going to my day job and then coming back to work out at 5:30 p.m.
Whoa.
That was a while. It was a wild time.
Yeah. I couldn't even imagine doing that right now.
No more.
Oh,
I coach morning classes exclusively, and I was talking to my partner about potentially picking up a afternoon class one day a week. That's living on the dark side right there.
Dang, that's a lot. There's a lot you got to factor into, like, when do you get your own workout in? When do you
Yeah,
eat? When do you nap?
for
Big
sure.
questions, important questions.
so
Well,
tough. Chris, how
yeah.
old are your kids?
11 and 7.
Oh, those are good ages.
It's
So
fine.
you're in the fun stage right now where they're young enough where they still think you hung the moon and they love you. They think you're a genius. Like they have not quite yet figured out. Like mine figured out at around 12 that daddy wasn't that smart, you know? I remember the day it happened, actually, like the actual day it happened. My daughter was in 5th grade and she had it was some sort of math homework. And she asked me for the answer. And I'm like, hold on, baby, daddy's doing something. And I grabbed my phone. She's like, are you Googling the answer? And I'm like, yes. And you could just see the disappointment in her face.
Oh,
Well,
She realized,
how old are your kids?
oh, they're old now. They're 21 and 19. They're
Okay.
college kids. So I've moved past all those fun stages and I'm back to them being awesome. I've moved past the moody stage and the high school years and back
Yeah,
to
so
the good, back to the
that's
good part.
incoming for me very shortly. It
Yeah,
seems like.
those are the fun years.
I like the sass. I might be alone in that, but I just truly, I mean, until I had a baby, and now, of course, I'm like obsessed with babies and they're amazing and I like want 10 of them. But before this, like, I just never wanted kids and I didn't ever like kids and was not for me. And I actually really like the like sassy teenage kind of starting to get an attitude because I'm like, I can roll with that. But now, of course, I'm like, babies are great.
Do your
Just never
kids
knew
roll to the
before.
gym with you at all, or they not have anything to do with it?
Here and there, mostly during the summertime. When they're off from school, I'll take them to the gym while I'm coaching and stuff like that. They'll hop in with the classes. But during this time of year, it's pretty tough with all their school sports and that kind of stuff. They're in every sport imaginable: soccer, lacrosse, basketball, they do it all. So it's a lot of driving around.
Dang.
Yeah.
The
That's the
parent
best.
shuffle is serious.
That's the
For
best time
real.
though. Like
And we
watching
only
kids
have 2.
sports. Oh, it's the best.
We only have 2, and not like, I see some parents, they've got 3, 4, 5 kids. I'm like, I don't understand how that works.
But you
It's got to
don't
be.
understand how more than one works yet. No.
Not yet, but you said you want 10, so you're on your way.
Oh man. Yeah. That would be, had we started having kids like 10 years ago, I totally would be like, I would like the football team
Yeah.
in this family. But yeah.
See, I said that initially before I had kids, just, growing up with 3 brothers, and having 2 is perfect,
It's all good.
Yeah, we're good here. We're good here. Shop's closed.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Jobs closed.
So Chris, you have so much going on. I mean, I know you run this affiliate. You are still competing. You just came back from Wadapalooza. Like you're recovering from that. Like what is your world looking like these days? How and where do you devote your time?
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Over the past, 2, 3 years, I've really developed the skill of compartmentalization and utilizing a schedule. Um, Competing in the sport of CrossFit, having an affiliate, but also being someone that owns a brand, Move Fast Lift Heavy, clothing and apparel, as well as an online training platform, selling programs and things like that. I mean, that's a lot of different hats to wear. So if I don't schedule my days out and maximize that time efficiently, then, I'll run myself into the ground, which I've
Yeah.
done many times. But the biggest things for me is just setting my days up for success. So, my morning routine, getting to the gym, coaching the 6, and then from 7 to 9 ish or so, I'm getting my training done, and then once that's done, then I'm working on the businesses, trying to get that stuff done before the kids get home, so that I can devote my time to spending with the fam.
All right. So I am made of questions because Lord knows I am the worst at scheduling, and I am currently buried. I am buried under just like work and life and responsibilities and shit like that. So when you make your schedule, if you say like, I'm going to train from 7 to 9, from 9 to 10, I'm going to do move fast, lift heavy, from 10 to 12, I got calls for the gym or whatever. Do you stick to those time frames even if you don't get the actual amount of work done, or do you shift them? Because that's what I find is like, I'm like, oh, I'll work on this for an hour, and an hour goes by and I'm not done. Like everything gets pushed back because I'm not done. I gotta finish the thing.
Yeah, that's a great question. When I do work on these things, I try to list them by priority. So the things that are more time sensitive, I'll try to get those done and work on those first. Because if I try to, allocate an hour for the gym, an hour for programming, an hour for this, even though I need to work on that stuff, if I don't dedicate the time to getting the time sensitive stuff done, then it's really going to set me back even further. So I always try to kind of prioritize it as well.
Do you write it
and
down?
that usually helps.
Or like use a program or anything like that?
I don't. I've
Lives
kind of
in
been
your brain.
Yeah, I've kind of been in the same routine of things for about 2 to 3 years now. But also, Deb is someone that keeps me very organized and says, "You got to be here at this time. Hop on this podcast at 8:30."
Necessary. We all need a Deb in our lives, for God's sake. Can I have one? Can I have her?
Yeah,
Can I borrow
I could
her?
use the Deb. I could use it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the things, honestly, like being organized was never a skill of mine. And she is someone that is pretty organized and very organized, rather. And she's helped to get me to understand the importance of that. So I kind of rely on her for that type of skill set.
Well, surrounding yourself with the right people is half the battle, isn't it? Because then you can, like you said, succeed in the areas where you are already sort of built to succeed, and you're not having to necessarily put time or effort toward a skill set that you either don't like or don't have. And if that's being organized or whatever, then, finding someone to balance you out is so helpful.
Oh, for sure. You need a team. Speaking of teams, I've got 2.
Oh, how so?
We're trying to get 2 teams for the games this year.
You are.
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's going well. It's going well. I actually have a Zoom call with them tomorrow to get things a little bit organized and schedules kind of buttoned up for the year. But I'll kind of run through the rosters. If you guys have not heard, my team from last year is returning, with the exception we're replacing one female. We've added Chloe Galvin David.
Yay!
Chloe's awesome.
Yeah. So she's going to be on the team along with myself, Will Carter, and Winter Nicolette.
Great.
And then our other team, I've had the pleasure of competing with them in the past. Dex Hopkins, Brooke Haas, and then Christine Best.
Yay!
Yeah. And then up and comer Joe Piero.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Oh my gosh, we love all these people.
Yeah.
I know. Actually, I saw that video of you and Christine doing wall balls, and she was jumping for her life. She's like
it was
5
pretty
feet
funny.
tall. She was like literally just leaping to get that ball up there. I'm like, oh, I love Christine so much.
Yeah. So we were going through that workout, and like, I'm kind of just like looking at her out of my peripheral. But then I look back at the video and I'm like, gosh, you're jumping literally every single rep. It's pretty funny.
Who's going to be in charge of keeping Dex in check? That's what I want to know, because Dex has got a real waffle pancake problem that I noticed while we were in Miami. Every time I ran into him, he was at this bakery down the street with a stack of waffles in front of him.
Oh
Like,
my
bro,
God.
like, how can you eat this much food? And every day he's just piling it on. I'm like,
Yeah, I think the girls are going to definitely have him in check quite a bit. Brooke and Christine will definitely be setting some ground rules, I think.
yeah. So Dex was living in my hometown in Tupelo, Mississippi, and training with my 78-year-old dad there for a couple of years, and did a really awesome hype video of old Roy doing box jumps and dumbbell snatches. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
So
he's good like that.
he's good. He's talented. He's got that fun little Southern accent that the girls like. So he'll be fun on your team. He'll be fun.
For sure. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the dynamic, having two games teams kind of battling it out week to week. It's going to be interesting. I've never
Chris,
had that experience before.
what is it like running and managing athletes when it comes to team stuff? Because I don't think that we, from the outside looking in, have a really good perspective of just how much coordination and I even know like both mentally and physically, you got to get people on the same page, and that's a lot of people for you when you've got two teams. Like what goes into picking them, managing them, making sure they're all doing what they got to do, all that stuff.
So honestly, last year was a bit easier because of the rules that they had in place, where you had to actually live where you were training out of and competing out of. Where this year you just have to do the open and quarterfinals. So this has been like a huge headache for me over the past couple of months, trying to figure out the logistics of back and forth travel between athletes and teams. And tomorrow, again, I have a call with everyone, and the idea is to try to set some sort of groundwork that allows everybody to flourish. Right? You're only going to be as good as much as you train together. So yeah, you have to be here technically for the open and quarterfinals, but if that's the only times that you come throughout the year, how good can you really be? You know what I mean? So I kind of want to hammer home that point. But also being mindful of people's professions, and not everyone is a full-time CrossFit athlete or affiliate owner. There's a few teachers that are on the roster, so these are folks with regular 9-to-5 jobs, and you have things like quarterfinals where they're putting these workouts during the week now, so that's like a whole nother logistical issue to try to overcome, but we'll make it work, I'm sure.
Yeah. Now, are you like the team dad? Like, do people come to you with the problems and the issues, and you got to? No, not at all.
No, not at all. I feel like I'm kind of stern in a sense, and I feel like maybe somewhat of a dad figure, but like they'll go to mom instead.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Got it.
Yeah.
They don't want to upset you.
They
You're
don't
going to
wanna
get the
upset
belt,
me.
so to speak. Got it. That's
For sure,
interesting.
for sure.
Yeah, I just read that today about how they're going to be releasing one workout a day over the course of the. It's like it comes out at like noon, and you have like 24 hours to submit it or something along those lines, right?
I do like that,
like
to be honest. I didn't like the whole release all the workouts at once, and then you can kind of like pick, all right, I'm going to do this first, even though it's due on Sunday, and kind of play that whole game. I like having to do it in order. That'll feel more like how, semis or the games is, right? The workout gets announced and you do it on the spot.
Yeah, I'm a fan of. I did like the autonomy of when basically any event ever could decide its own way at it. I just thought it made things really interesting and exciting, but there is also a part of me that really loves just making everything such an even playing field by making it the same across the board. And obviously, like, I have big love for regionals because that's how I feel like that's just how the whole thing was started. And that's how I fell in love with CrossFit.
100%.
So yeah, kind of going back to that, I do like where it's going. And I do think that it's a cleaner way to find the fittest on earth.
Definitely. Have to definitely agree with you on that.
Well, John, when are you going to jump on a team already, huh?
I was actually sitting here disappointed. I didn't get invited on either one of these teams, so I don't. I'm just gonna message Rich real quick. I'm sure he's got something in mayhem for me. It'll be fine.
You could walk on to that team. You don't even need
May-
to try out.
Mayhem Masters. There you go.
There you go. There
John,
you go.
would you ever do like the Legends comp or anything
God,
like that?
no.
Why?
God, no.
You crushed at Wadapalooza. Why would you not do that?
No, because I don't have it. Like what these guys do is no, just no.
It's
Shut
too
up,
much.
Mickey.
You know what? I'll tell you
It
what.
is.
42 pistols on one leg is just way too much damage.
Yeah, about that.
The life of a competitor is so much different than the average CrossFitter. I think people don't recognize that. Everyone sits around. Oh, if I had time to work out, all the time, I could do this. No, you couldn't. No, you couldn't. And let me tell you why. Because I'm sitting here right now drinking a tequila and soda. He's drinking Beam and getting ready to go to bed. That's the difference. That's the dedication of an actual athlete, of like having that like wherewithal of saying, here's exactly what my diet's going to be like 7 days a week. Here's exactly what my sleep is going to be like 7 days a week. Here's what my lifestyle is going to look like. And most people, myself included, are far too casual with all of that to be to do anything competitive, including a Legends comp. If you're going to do it well,
Right.
So,
no, that's true. That's fair.
Touche.
And, I just like, I've seen, I've been around too many games athletes and trained with too many of them to see what they do, to know that that's just not the life I want to live. You guys live like an entirely different mindset than the rest of us. I actually was like, at the beginning of this conversation, you were talking about how you managing your business and your gym and everything else. And the thing that most impressed me is you're like, of all that stuff you're doing, because I'm also calculating in my head all these meals and sleep and everything else that I'm sure you're doing, somewhere in all that, you're carving out time to be home for the kids.
Yeah.
Which is really cool to me. Is that somehow, were you raised that way, or just something you're wired to do?
Well, I
Or
think,
both.
Growing up, like not really having a father figure around definitely makes me want to be there for everything that my kids are doing. So that weighs heavily in a lot of the reason why I structure my days the way that I do. So I try to do my best to have like a hard cutoff of being home at 3, which is like right before the fam gets home. And it also gives me selfishly like 10 to 15 minutes solo before like all the chaos starts at the house. So
super important.
It gives me a couple minutes to like just decompress from everything I've done already in the day, and then to kind of like trying to be present for the fam.
It's just always interesting to me how many athletes I meet like yourself that just seem to be the kind of the kings of prioritization, and not only being able to prioritize the things that are important, but the things that are really important, which are not, I don't want to break anyone's heart listening that loves CrossFit. It's not thrusters and pull-ups. That's not like the most important thing, And so I'm just always impressed by how many people I've met within this sport, like yourself. And, I think of Tim Paulson and Dex, who has 2 little kids, and that they can prioritize family and children, over, kind of the, I don't think it's glamorous, but the glamorous part of the sport, which is the competing and the workout. So
yeah, that's the fun stuff, but it isn't always easy. I'll tell you that. And there's good and bad days, just like everyone else. But obviously on Instagram, it's all a highlight reel.
Do your kids think you're a big deal, or they just think this CrossFit thing's silly?
My little guy, actually, it was funny. He asked me the other day, he's like, "Dad, are you famous?" I'm like, "No, I'm not famous."
Legit question. Was he like, cool, I knew you were lame, whatever?
No, but it was just funny.
Have they been to an event and see you have to sign an autograph or take a photo with someone yet?
So my little guy has not been to like any of actually he's been to sanctionals, but it was the MAC, and I had like my worst competitive showing of my career. But my older guy, sorry, has been to regionals back when it was at Reebok HQ.
Oh,
I
wow.
don't know if you guys are around for that,
Yeah.
but
Yep. Yeah. Out in Canton.
yeah, Canton. And they're going to be coming out to semis this year and to games this year. This is going to be my last year going for it. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
What was it like making that decision?
It was definitely tough, but I've been saying for like the past 3 years, like, I'm probably this is going to be my last one.
Okay.
This is going to be my last one. But this is really going to be my last one.
Okay, got it. For real this time.
For real.
Why?
I've just been doing this since 2011 and like competing in it, and just like John's saying, like the many years of trying to stay so dialed in and committed, it's starting to mentally wear on me a bit. And after last year coming in 8th, I'm just not 100% like fulfilled, and I really want to get on the podium and kind of go out on that note. So that's kind of the game plan this year. Try to end out on a high note, right off into the sunset.
Yeah. Well, I want to ask like what has changed or what's sort of like on the docket to help you get there. But before I hear the full answer, I assume that part of that answer has to do with the tools that you use to train. And so we want to just give a shout out to Airwave, who's our sponsor for this episode, and you are one of their athletes. And so give us a snapshot of how you use the mouthpiece when you train.
It's funny, they just came out with a shirt that I got, and it says, what does it say? It says something like, I feel naked without it. And it's true, because when I first tried it, it took me about 3 times to like actually like give it a true shot. I remember the first workout that I did with it, it was assault bike sprints and running. And within like 2 minutes, I like spit this thing out across the gym. Then I tried it again. And then the third time that I tried it in a strength session. And I'm a big grinder with my teeth, especially when I'm squatting. And just having it in my mouth, protecting my teeth, it just really gave me like some mental comfort. And then from that point, I started wearing it more and more, and then started noticing the benefit of wearing the Airwave during, conditioning pieces. And now I wear it all the time. The only time I don't wear it in training is swimming. And I've tried it once, but it would take some getting used to for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took me like 3 or 4 times just to stop drooling when I had it in. But that goes away. I will say that goes away.
Well, the best part is trying to have a conversation with someone. All the lisping, all the spitting all over. It's a good time.
Yep. I will say, if you're new here and this is your first episode and you haven't heard about Airwave before, well, first of all, welcome, I guess. But second of all, it is a really small and relatively inobtrusive mouthpiece that sits kind of like on your bottom teeth, and you can form it directly to your mouth. You can reform it as many times as you want. I know when we say mouthpiece, I think people think about like the mouth guards we wore as kids. Yeah, for football or lacrosse or whatever, where it's like, or like the big ones you like bite into at the dentist's office. Not like that at all. You actually can kind of like talk with it in a little bit, and it sits pretty comfortably, and it positions your jaw in a way that better allows for air intake. So it can really help you during long Metcon type workouts, avoid hitting the wall, and it can help with recovery. It can help you with biting down and grinding your teeth on lifting and all of that jazz.
For sure. I love it.
I also found, go ahead, John.
I'll say, and you get to shove it in your mouth hole.
You get to put it in your mouth hole.
Yes.
Win me back. When you first said that they just made a shirt, I was like, does the shirt say you put it in your mouth hole? Because that's my line, trademark, TM.
I mean, you might have to hit them up for that, for sure.
I would wear it.
I think we could co-brand a shirt. Great.
Kettlebells and cocktails. You put it in your mouth hole.
Put it in your mouth hole. My training
Airwave.
partner and co-owner of the gym I own wears one. Swears by it, and
Yeah.
he's crazy good on the rower, and it annoys me how good he is. And he swears by this thing. And he's a doctor, and has he's one of those guys, like, you can't hand him something without him reading
Right.
every damn word on the label. And so that's when I was already using it and already knew it was good. But that's when I was like really sold. I'm like, because I know this guy got the specs.
He'll call the bullshit out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You can't this guy is crazy about the science behind everything, and swears by this thing. And to his credit, has a ridiculously good engine, on the bike, on the rower, and so yeah, it's the real deal. And he also shoves it in his mouth hole.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. So, so shout out to Airwave. Thank you for sponsoring this episode. And if you guys want to try it out, it's AIRWAAV.com. So I would say, aside from what you are shoving in your mouth hole, what is sort of like setting this season apart for you in terms of what you're doing to really try and achieve those goals on what will probably be, I won't say definitively, but probably be your last run at the podium?
Yeah, it's a great question. One, it starts with kind of understanding what didn't go so well last season and the holes that needed to be filled. So, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Understanding like what needed to be worked on, what holes needed to be filled. And I think, with the addition of Chloe, she is definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with, and someone that definitely helps to elevate our potential. Also kind of keeping our core that we had together with Will and Winter. We all know how each other operate, and just being able to have another year of building off of each other is going to be something that works really well for us. But then also with the addition of another team to push against day in and day out, I think that's going to make a big difference too, because on the team side of things, you really don't know where you're at until you show up at a semis. And at that point, it's either too late or maybe you'll skate in and figure it out. But having a team to actually push against day in and day out, it's definitely going to make things very interesting.
As the person in charge of the teams, last year seemed to be like kind of an utter nightmare for teams for a lot of different reasons. How do you manage all those different personalities? Like, you can't control the other 7 people on these teams and what they're doing outside of you. Like, you can only control them when you're there training. Like, do you worry about that at all? Do you think about it? Is that something like you just get the people on the teams and let's just go for it? Or like, what's the mindset?
I do. And it stresses me out. And I need to also understand that these are people with their own personalities and lives and everything like that. So, I can't control everyone. All I could do is try to lay some ground rules, give some education so that they understand that the choices that they make, they can affect the team, and just try to set a good example,
Yeah, that seemed to be the hardest thing last year. It's like, CrossFit was it's all the noise outside of the actual competition that makes it even worse. All the talking heads coming in with opinions over 100 different things. And, there's always the dad in me that I don't really care about everybody else's opinions. I'm like more worried about the 4 people on the team that are kind of hurting as things are going down. And I always wonder, like, the person in charge, like, how stressful is that? As, you spend so much time training, and then some outside influence messes it up, and the disappointment that comes with that. I know.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a real thing, and I'm already in for it this year because now there's an additional team, so there's going to be quite a few more personalities to deal with. But it's all part of the fun, and I'm looking forward to it because it's only going to help me to grow and learn more as, not only an athlete, but as a coach and a mentor as well.
Do you listen to, the noise outside of what you guys are training? Like, there's always the, the morning chalk ups and the podcasts like ours and
Yeah.
everyone else, talking about who's going to win and who isn't, who's the favorite, and this team screwed up. Like, do you even hear any of that, or you just stay squarely focused on your own work?
Yeah, I mean, you hear it, but it doesn't like if I hear, this team is, they've got these athletes, like, cool. Like, what am I going to do? All I can do is what we're doing in the gym and try to get as fit as we can and as tight knit as we can. You know what I mean? Like, cool.
For sure.
You know,
What kind of plans do you have for the business? Like, what are your goals on that side of things?
that's a great question. On the online training side of things, we are in the midst of launching some more individualized stuff. So that's kind of a question that we get a lot on our platform. So just to give a little bit of a insight of what the training is, it's called Train with CH, Christian Harris, and it follows exactly what I'm doing 1 week out. So everything that I just did today, everyone's going to be doing next Wednesday if you follow the program. And everything that I do is broken down into either a double session, which is how I present it, or if you don't have the time for a double session, we'll take out, like a monostructural piece and maybe some of the accessory work to cut it down to a 90-minute session. And if you don't have enough time for a 90-minute session, then it's broken down even further to a 60-minute session. Now, we also have Pump with CH, which is a bodybuilding program. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have an individualized component to that. So we should be announcing it, I think, later this week, but I guess you guys are going to hear it first. Will Carter is going to be our individualized first individualized programming coach under the platform. So pretty excited for that.
That's awesome. And I love that you personally are going through the programming, because I feel like that is one of the biggest disconnects I find sometimes in in affiliate programming and also in professional programming, is the people who see it all on paper but don't put their bodies through it and don't have the experience to say like, oh shit, that really hurt, or like that was not the right
100%.
weight,
100%. So like the other half of that is sometimes I'll write a workout and it's like just a little too ambitious. So it allows me a chance to kind of tailor it back and make it that right stimulus, take those 10 pounds off or add the 10 pounds on to make it the stimulus that it should be hitting for that particular workout. So it's definitely valuable in that sense. I'll put like a video each day of, how I personally did in the workout, how I broke it up, or my strategies, or just sometimes it's just like, that sucked, y'all. Like, go get it.
Yeah. Where is the time for that? We didn't talk about video production and the daily schedule of getting home at 3 for 8 minutes of solo Chris time before the family gets, like, that is a lot of work.
It is. I think one of the underrated things that people don't get is the social media stuff that could 1000% be a full-time job.
Yes.
Especially being an athlete in the space and having sponsors and things like that, all the obligations of trying to meet post requirements. Like it can be overwhelming at times. But again, if you're organized, you have a team behind you, and you have somewhat of a creative instinct, I think it's not too bad.
I'm so bad. You guys, I am so bad at it. Like, I'm so bad at like reels and TikTok, and I
You got to
want to
just
be
stop.
good. Like,
you got to stop saying that.
Well, like this is the thing. It's like I'm really good at it from a marketing standpoint because that's what I do full time. But I'm really bad at it if I just need to like find time to dedicate to doing it. Like it's awful. And I do the like whatever Reels bonus situation.
Yep.
So technically, like Instagram will pay me to post videos. And I made the mistake of telling this to Matt like 2 months ago. And since then, he's straight up become my agent. He's like, this is the next sound we're going to use. And this is the video that you need to post. And this is, are you going to do that today? Because we're going to make like $50 off that video. And I'm like, God damn, okay. Like I got other shit to do, but okay. God.
It's funny though, when you look at the Reels bonus thing and it's like $200,000. It's like, what do you actually have to do to get that $200,000? It's like some astronomical number that no one's hitting.
I don't know, because for a month straight, I think I posted like 2 a week and I made like $200. But to him, it's free money. He's like, you better be posting that shit twice a day.
Well,
like, okay.
Instagram can't figure out how much they want to pay everyone. So for Chris, it may be $200,000. I don't know what they're paying. Well, how much are they offering to pay you, Nikki? What is it?
You know,
it's like a sliding
less than
scale.
that. It's a sliding scale, and they don't tell you until it's payout time, so you don't know. It's never for me. It's not. I mean, I don't do it a lot, but I've never made more than like $100 or $200.
Mine's a static dollar amount.
No,
and if I get to a certain number of views, I get paid the static dollar amount, and it's an obnoxiously low dollar amount considering how many followers I have. It's really
but it's not every video is the same. It's like they get juiced at the beginning. Not every view is the same amount of payout. That's
it's like within the first hour, I believe, of posting are the ones that count. But honestly, I'm kind of just talking out of my ass right now. I think that's what it is.
Well, it's different for everyone. That's my point. They have I think they're testing multiple things. I was talking to someone else in the space earlier in the week, and they were telling me what their rate was, and it was significantly higher than mine. I'm like, I got 3 times as many followers as you. Now I'm mad. Like now I'm annoyed. It's a first world problems. You know what I mean?
I know. My max for the month is only $1,200. So mine is significantly lower. But I'm telling you, to Matt, it's like free money. And he's like, you need to be making hilarious reels on a daily basis with all of your free time, Nikki.
That's what I do in all my free time. I think he's right. You should.
I wish. I have about 7 minutes of free time. Like Chris has his like 10 to 15 alone minutes. I have like 7 of those alone minutes on a daily basis. That's all I got.
Oh, you can crank out one reel a day in your 7 minutes.
I will have to do that. I will say that if you hilarious like sounds or trends that you think I should do, send them to me because I'm not creative. What about plans as far as the apparel business?
So what are we doing there? I don't want to give out too much strategy, but
oh my gosh. I feel like we're getting all the scoops on tonight's show. This is the best.
Well, I will say Friday we are releasing a collection that everyone on the gram has voted on. We called it the This or That. So we brought out basically some of the favorites from the past year and kind of made them do a versus battle with each other. And, you know, it's this tee or that tee, this long sleeve versus that long sleeve, this hoodie versus that hoodie. So everybody kind of voted on these over the past month. We released a This or That like every few days. And we're going to drop the winners on Friday in one big collection.
Fun. That's awesome. I love that.
Well, I'm impressed at how you're juggling all this, Chris, to be honest. Like, I feel like I have 5 jobs. And people are often asking me, they're like, how do you find time for all of this? And I'm like, well, this is why I recommend divorce to everyone. But somehow you're figuring out how to like have a great family and kids at home and like everything, and, you know, 2 teams and a gym and coaching and apparel lines and Airwave. And somehow you're doing reels too, apparently.
And your reels bonus is so much better than mine.
I know. I'm just like, man, you know, you have it all. You just got it all going on. I'm just over here trying to do memes. Like, it's really impressive.
The memes are funny as hell, though.
Yeah, but it's no apparel line. People don't buy my merch. They're buying your merch. You have it figured out.
For the record, our latest merch was wicked cute.
And that's sold. I'll give that
Yeah.
credit. That actually sold. But
we don't know what we're doing. We lean into other people who actually know what they're doing.
Here's a great meme idea for you, though, because if this is going to be your last year, you have to promise me you're going to do this. So every time an athlete retires, and I'm going to put that in air quotes because you guys always go like, I'm retiring, and then you're back for like another season. But if you decide to do it, every time someone does it, they take their shoes off and they put it out on the floor for their last time on the floor. Don't do that. I want you to take your airwave out and put it on the floor and just leave your mouthpiece right out there. It's going to be great.
It'll be great.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be great. Everybody's like, did he just take that out of his mouth? What the hell? But it'd be a great, it'd be a great ad for Airwave. It'd be perfect.
I'm all about it.
They'll love it.
Marketing 101, marketing by John.
Just saying. Be great.
I don't hate it. You're hired.
Everybody leaves their shoes out there. Everybody does that. That's old hat. Airwave's the new shoes.
Honestly, I haven't even seen that one with the shoes. No,
you haven't?
I don't know where I've been.
Pancheck did it. Sam Briggs did it. Who else did it? Neil Maddox. He started it. He's the troublemaker.
Well, he didn't start. I mean, like, it's been around in sports forever, but he definitely, I feel like, was the first one that did it at the games.
Didn't Josh Bridges do it too? I think so.
Did he? I don't know. Maybe it wasn't there for that one.
I don't know.
I was there for the Neil one, though. I cried. It was really emotional. It was really sweet.
Neil's the man.
Yeah.
How long ago was that? That had to have been what, like 17, 18?
17. Yeah. I think 17. It's his second year in the Masters division, maybe.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It was a good one. Yeah, it was a good one.
Nikki remembers all this little stuff. I can't remember it. She sees it all.
I don't. That's not true. I did it. I was working Masters that year, teens and Masters in the. I always joke we call it the sweat barn, like that, like in between area at the games where the teens and Masters are always set up, because the first year, like when the CrossFit Games are not there, they do 4-H stuff there. So like farm animals and whatever. And the very first year we were ever in Madison, I was doing teens and Masters in the sweat barn, and it was like raining every single day, and it was humid as fuck. It was like 100 degrees and heavy. You could like cut the air with your hands, and they had not cleaned out the area from the 4-H. There was like, it smelled like cow, and there was like feathers everywhere. And I was just like, what is this venue? What are we doing here? But by the weekend, it got better and cleared up, and it stopped smelling. But the first couple of days, I was like, oh my God, what is this?
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for your teams, dude. I have a couple of people in there that I would consider good friends. Christine and I hung out at the games a few years back, the year that she qualified for the games in the Open, and then they disqualified her because of her wall balls. She and I were hanging out at the games, and we're wandering through Vendor Village, and they had some sort of push-up contest at this place that was selling Hot Pockets. Now, they weren't real Hot Pockets. It was like called Jack's Organic something. She could tell you. I don't remember what it was called, but it was like a Hot Pocket wannabe, but healthy Hot Pockets, if you could imagine.
Healthy Hot Pockets.
They were disgusting. Let me just put it out there. They were not good.
Just eat a Hot Pocket.
Yeah, but they had
at that point,
had a push-up contest, and the push-up contest came with a $250 gift card to something. I don't know what it was.
For Hot Pockets.
For Hot Pockets. For Jack's Hot Pockets.
It was for like actual cash or something. And Christine, being the athlete she's like, I'm going to win that gift card. And she won that gift card. Went out there and crushed some amateur on push-ups. Just cranking them out. And the funny thing is the young woman she was competing against has actually kind of turned out to be a friend and has been on the show before, Nikki, at some point. I forget what it was, 2 minutes to do max rep push-ups, and Christine did a ridiculous number, like, I don't know, I'm gonna say it was like 130 something. And this young woman,
like,
that's a lot.
20.
It was a ton. It was a ton.
I hate push-ups
because I did them too, and she beat me like a drum. And but this young woman she did it against got like missed it by. They had to have a push off because they tied.
Oh,
And,
wow.
yeah, and then she ended up beating this young woman by like one
Who
push
was it? Who was it?
up. Hannah, we had her on the episode with the three women
With the gals.
yep.
Yeah. Wow, that's badass.
Yeah, it was
For
cool.
her.
And so I told Christine at the time, I'm like, you should just give up this games dream and just go to like vendor villages and just win gift cards because the prizes are so much better. You
It's
know?
probably just as much in winning. so
Yeah, it's
that's
about as much
why.
money. You know, if you're not on the podium, it's almost as much money. You
And
know,
hot pockets for life.
and you get hot pockets.
Nah, we ain't giving up that dream.
And then because we were in Madison, she was with her
Okay.
gym, and they took me out on a paddle boat. And this can only happen to CrossFitters. We're paddling around this lake in Madison, and it's one of those boats where you're drinking and paddling. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
Okay. Yep.
yeah, you're all sitting around the edge,
Oh,
and you
yeah.
have pedals, you know, but it's making the boat go. And at some point, you know, we were drinking White Claws like nobody's business, as only CrossFitters can. And everybody's getting tipsy. And at some point, all the CrossFitters are like, let's take this thing out for a test run and see what can happen.
Oh, God.
And everybody just starts pedaling their asses off and they break the chain. So now
So
we're
you
out in
guys
the
are
middle.
stranded?
So now we're out in the middle of the lake with a broken chain. And thank God, unbeknownst to us, this thing actually had an engine on it. And we got back home.
Of course it does. Because
I'm
what
like,
if everybody
man,
gets so shit-faced that they can't
Oh,
pedal
yeah.
anymore?
it was really impressive. So I say all that to say I love Christine Best. She is.
Yeah, she's good people.
She
Good
is
energy.
one of the best. Super fun. She's my people. She likes to drink and cuss like a sailor. I love her. She's my favorite.
I can't imagine you liking people like that.
I
John.
know. It's hard to believe, right? Hard to believe.
The company you keep, sir.
Yep. She's the best. And then, of course, there's Dex. So you just need to hope that the CrossFit Games.
You might have to come out for one of our training weekends.
I'm down. I'd come out. I'll bring the case of White Claws for Dex because that's his jam, and we'll party. It'll be a good time. It'll be good stuff.
Sounds good.
I'll come watch. I'm not working out, but I'll watch.
Yeah, come have a few drinks. Maybe we'll tie-dye some t-shirts or something.
Yeah. I don't work out with real athletes anymore.
What? I
I've
want to
learned my
come for
lesson.
tie-dyeing stuff. That
You're
sounds like
invited
so much
to.
fun.
You're
Okay, good. Because
invited
I'm
to.
not working out, but I'm hella tie-dye for sure.
Where is camp? Where are you guys having camp?
Long Island.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Where? No, I'm not super familiar, but where on Long Island are you guys at?
We are in Ronkonkoma, not a very touristy destination by any means, but we're close to like a town called Patchogue, Bayshore. There's like a lot of stuff that you can do in those towns as far as like restaurants, nightlife, things like that.
You're kind of like right in the middle.
Nikki, we
Yeah.
just talked about Long Island on the last
I
episode.
know.
but
That's
we haven't even
why I
aired yet.
asked. I know. That's why I.
Who'd you have from Long Island?
We had Meg Reardon on.
Oh, Meg. Yes, I'm like 40 minutes from Meg though. She's in Long Beach, so she's like right in the beginning of Long Island.
We need to make a New York trip, Nikki. There's too many people we know in New York. We just
I
need to put them
know.
together.
Yeah, do a little tour.
I'm totally down. Well, it's really easy for me because I can take the ferry down Orient Point.
Oh, you're in Connecticut?
No, I'm in Rhode Island, but it's
Oh,
like
right,
an
gotcha,
hour to
gotcha.
the ferry, and then it's like that's a way easier than driving through the city.
So where I live in Bayport, what's the other ferry? Bridgeport.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally like just a straight shot up from where my town is. So it's like
Easy.
20 minutes away. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to make a trip, John.
I'm
But you have to come
down.
here first,
Okay.
and then we can go down together.
I'll come get you. I'll drive. You and Matt can work on your TikTok / reels on the drive over so you can make that $50 so Matt can get off the
Yes.
back.
Yeah,
Making that
do like
50.
a little Northeast tour.
Yeah, I'm totally down
You
for
know?
that. That'd be so fun.
That
Wait
was-
till it's a little warmer though.
Dude, it is. And this weekend
It's-
is going to be insane. It's so
gross.
cold.
It's
Yeah.
gross.
I'm not happy with it.
There you go. Well, I'm excited for you, man. It's gonna be a good season.
I appreciate it.
Hopefully we will we'll get to catch up with you guys at semis. You guys will be Orlando, right?
Yep.
going to be there for that for sure. Hopefully Nikki will be working it. If not, I'm just going to make her come down and hang out with me one way or another.
That's going to be an interesting event as well.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It will certainly be fun.
Let's go to bed.
Everyone's
I'm
bedtime
so
at this point.
excited.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of wondering at what point Chris would just kind of start nodding off, give it like one of those dad
my eyes are getting a little heavy.
It's time.
I can tell.
It's time.
But this has been fun. This has been great.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for staying up
for having
wee
me.
hours with us. It's nice of you. You know.
Yeah. And nice meeting you, John.
Nice meeting you too. Hey, before we sign off, where can everybody find your stuff? And they can go, I am Chris Harris on Instagram. They can hit your link in bio. Anywhere else they should be looking for your stuff?
Yeah, if you go to link in bio, you can find all that stuff, or movefastliftheavy.com. That'll get you all the goods.
Perfect. All right. Well, go check out Chris's goods. Nikki, thanks for staying up as well. Appreciate it. I know it's extra bedtime.
Of course.
I'm going to stay out and party for a while. You guys go to bed. So,
yeah.
All right. For everyone listening, appreciate you guys joining, and we will chat with you guys soon.